Welcome everyone to the conclusion of week 1 here in the LEC 2023 Summer Split live from Berlin, Germany. EXO and SK have yet to pick up a win in the past 2 days, but one of them is bound to succeed today in our opening match. I am Frankie, I am joined by Goldborg and Caedrel and this beautiful live audience here in Berlin. We see you, we love you. But right now we're going to keep things chill on the analyst desk as we talk about what's happened so far. Goldborg, you enjoying the summer?
I would say so far. I think that games have shown good highlights of some quality, and I also think we have some adaptation within what teams are trying to achieve, at least with moving around the map and fighting for these 5v5s as we see in some of the crazy LPL games as well. So I've been entertained. I will say some of them, of course, haven't been as clean, but isn't that just part of the fun?
That is part of the fun. Caedrel, I'm loving your hair today.
Thanks. I've been out, got a new haircut, been in the sun. I've been feeling really refreshed coming back into summer. Like, I feel like it's a new me.
Yeah, and it's so good to have you on the analyst desk again after all this time. Now, as we...
All the things.
Well, you know what? Speaking of Caps, yesterday we got to see him and others play Nico on the Rift, and there was medium success. Obviously, great success, Nook.
Gonna get that one. Broken Blade waiting over the wall as well. Now coming down to the bottom side of the map. Caps is a control... Wait, shh. Nobody tell them. Cancel. Pull back. Caps still a control ward. This is the longest con ever. They're letting their top laner die. Here he goes. Oh, baited! It all came together, but can they actually win the fight, G2? They're too excited about Nico and not excited enough about winning the game.
But let's not keep talking about Caps. We're going to talk instead with Caedrel and Ender because they would actually like to switch things up to the LCK to talk about Nico.
Wait, I thought you were...
Dude, did you like my blast cone thing? My like
that
tech?
Was great. I totally...
You fell for it?
And sinker, yeah.
I just W'd over here and swapped back to normal.
Give me an ulti, maybe? Oh,
do you feel it?
Yeah, you just hit me too. That's absolutely crazy. Well, yeah, we've had Nico mid lane, but I don't know. I feel like some people get a little bit more creative around the world, and Canyon bust out the Nico jungle. So tell me about all the wacky things he did.
So it's going to be a little bit informative, but it's also going to be a wacky. So if we can play through the clip, you can see like they flex the Nico on blue side. So many random things happen this game. So we're going to go through all of them all. So he's going to start as a minion with W, and oftentimes when I'm watching the LCK and I see the camera go over to his jungle clear and I'm seeing a minion clear out blue buff.
David versus Goliath.
I'm already like, what the hell's going on? Every single camp, this guy is like swapping into different shapes and forms, and he just power farms through the jungle. So you got a Scion Leash with W.
Yep.
What time do you think he's going to finish a full clear on?
I mean, a mage shot like 3 minutes, 3:10, something like that.
You'd expect that, right? He finishes his full clear at about 255, 256, which is bonkers. So if you look at the minimap, you can see, I don't know if you can bring it up. Anyway, you can see it on the full screen. The minimap, the fact that Poppy's moving over to her Raptors, he's just finished red.
He's
and
like
now
2 camps ahead of her.
He's 2 camps ahead. A small leash, you'll have to say, but yeah, now he's going to finish Krugs. What's he going to transform into?
I mean, a blue buff.
Bot dive inbound?
Yeah.
What's going to dive? What's going to dive bot? It's the mini Krug. The mini Krug is diving bots. And then you can see the bot lane of Nongshim is just laning, and all of a sudden they look behind them. There's a mini Krug. First blood over to Damwon. And it gets wackier. A lot of these transformations maybe don't do much. I mean, the small hitbox maybe realize it a little bit later on before you're getting dove. But it's just funny to see every time you go towards a champion, as informative as it is. If you see things like Gromp ganking mid lane, you're just questioning what the hell's going on anymore.
Yeah, I also feel like, especially like once you've passed like something like level 6, if it's the first time you're coming out of Fog of War, enemy champion doesn't see what level you are, so they're not ready for like the ultimate. Obviously, you're hiding the ulti too.
So let's pause here. You're Dundun, right? You're playing Poppy into Scion, you're going to get a good trade. So if you play it out from his vision, he's going to get a good trade on the Kana. I'll push this wave in. Now pause.
Hold on.
Is that Kana?
He just healed all of his health back.
He did heal his health back. Canyon misplayed it. If Canyon actually took the health that he took away and then they swapped, this play would work. But look at the idea behind it.
Because the health bar that you take is from the moment you transform, you get whatever health he has.
Exactly.
So he transformed too early.
So if they lose health, you transform too early and it looks like you healed. So Dundun, I think, realized this at this point. But if you play it, you can see what the idea was. They're going to try Nico ult Proto Belt and then Scion ult back out of Fog of War. So it didn't work, but the idea was good. And you can see the players, they're just laughing to themselves. They're having a great time.
Yeah, and someone's going to get baited by that. Like, and the thing is, you can do this like not just on jungle Nico. If you're trying to like lane gank with a lane Nico or something like this, like you can just turn into the support or something if you're running through bot lane.
That's exactly it. And oftentimes you see in pro play, you're looking at the minions and everyone talks about counting the minions, but also you have to really keep track of what's actually happening on the map, because not only can you do that through lanes, any lane whatsoever, even in the early game, like we didn't even see a minion gank level 4 from Canyon, which could have worked. Even in the mid to late game, you can see 2 Kellins going into ward. You know, what happens here, there's not actually anything that happens, but just keep your eyes on how many times Canyon W's. W, recall, you'll see that oftentimes.
Because what's the cooldown on that thing?
It's like 5 seconds,
Insane.
6 seconds cooldown at this point. So he's going to spam it out on purpose, because sometimes you'll try and cancel those recall and use spells, and when you do, how many Leonas are on the screen right now? I don't know, there's 3 of them.
Crazy.
Which one's Leona? This is the kind of thing that you really need to keep your eye on with Nico.
I also think like there he was staying in Fog of War while sending the W out. That's a little bit more because you don't necessarily know that that's the W, right? When you don't see 2 on the screen, you're not as concerned about it.
Exactly, that's exactly right. And as much as these were things that could happen to Nico before, we haven't seen Nico that much in pro play. So when you see her in the LEC and the mid laners are playing it, you can see them walk into jungle, bait out spells. You can also in a team fight a dragon turn into your Jinx. Press W. There's 3 Jinxes when a Jarvan's going in. Makes things a little bit more complicated when you have no vision. And I think you can really play with the enemy's minds with Nico in more ways than just I'm a minion in a lane.
100%. Yeah, I mean, we'll leave that to Caps. That's his specialty for the time being. But yeah, I think anything that baits the enemy team into you, because Nico's problem is still pretty limited range. Like if she doesn't have flash, it's really hard for her to find a backliner. We saw that a lot with like Caps trying to dive in, especially with the Xayah. So those transforms to bait players into you, that's free ults every time because you're also hiding that initial cast of the ultimate.
I just think this ult's absurd, especially when the solo Caps solo kill onto Niski. The wind-up is invisible. You don't actually see it. So as much as Niski kind of died on that mid wave and looked a bit troll, you can't really blame him because he was invisible on the ult anyway and he flashed before he could realize.
It was a heartbreaker for that play right there. But enough from us here.
Coming out of the G2 camp so often. You heard it a lot in Broken Blade's interviews on day 1. And they've been disciplined. And now Caps, here he goes. Where is he going? That's the sickest movement we've ever seen on a little melee creep. There he goes.
I mean, I don't know about AI there for these creep. Oh my god,
Going in!
no way!
That's the most disrespectful thing I've seen all season. Carzzy immediately firing back.
It's not very nice. No, not very nice at all. Canyon and Canyon here in the jungle. They're going to join Showmaker. Both Canyons, or at least one of the Canyons.